Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, you're watching another edition of The Small Business Show, exclusively right here at ASBN.com. Lack of follow-up can hold a business back. Joining us now to share a few strategies for getting it right is Melinda Emerson. You've seen her here before on ASBN. She's America's #1 small business expert. She's also an incredible author and the CEO of Quintessence Group. She's also an amazing speaker. So if any of you have got events coming up and you're looking for a speaker that will blow you away and your audience will love you for bringing her in, this is the young lady that you want to contact, Melinda Emerson. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Very much appreciate it.
Oh man, I need to send you a check for that wonderful introduction.
The check comes in the way of your presence here on our network, so we appreciate that.
I appreciate you though. No, this is great.
Yeah. So why is it? Let's really just start with the problem. So many small business owners that are, a small business owner, as you know, is an owner / the top salesperson of that company, usually, right?
They should be.
Especially when they get started and they're trying to get going and get revenue going and everything else. They are the cheerleader, they're the salesperson, they're the bookkeeper, they're the legal team, they're the whole deal. But so many of us, and I know I fall into this category myself, maybe even with a few companies that I own, I don't do follow-up the way that I should. And what is it with us? Why do we struggle to follow up?
Well, people get discouraged, right? And people are also busy. But here's what I want to tell you. 80% of most sales, especially if you're selling professional services. Now, if you sell food or you sell products, it's different. But if you're selling services, which probably 85% of folks are,
right,
it requires a minimum of 5 follow-ups. And most people stop at 1 or 2. Right. And that is really bad because poor follow-up equals lost revenue.
That's right.
All day, every day.
That's right. That's right. And it's that situation where would you rather follow up with somebody that you already know, you already met, that already knows your product, already knows your pricing, just wasn't ready at the time, rather than a whole new fresh call or a cold call that you're going to make? I'd much rather make the call to the follow-up to see if they're ready to move to the next category, right?
100%, 100%. I mean, because here's the thing, leads get cold fast.
Yeah.
So, you have to look at some of the signs that your follow-up is broken are people ghosting you after discovery calls?
Yeah.
Do you keep hearing I'll think about it? Are your closing rates really low despite the fact you have a lot of leads coming in? These are key signs that something is broken about your follow-up system.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Or it could even be about your pricing. It could be a number of different things, right? If in the event when the follow-up isn't done, to say, what is it that stands between you and us and putting this getting this to the next level and coming up with a signed agreement, and then just be quiet. Yeah. A lot of times they'll tell you your pricing is too high, your product's not as good, you're too far away.
You have to ask them, what can get you to a yes? What could I do today to get you to a yes is a critical question to ask, especially in a discovery call.
Totally agree.
What is it that what can push you over the top? But there's a lot of common follow-up mistakes that people make. Number one, they don't have a clear sales process, so they're all over the place. Or you have a poor website, because a lot of times people might hear about you, but they're going to go check you out before they ever agree to a discovery call with you. So you have to make sure your website is ready to welcome visitors, right? That people can find what they need, that you demonstrate your expertise in really easy to see ways on your site. And then you're not using a CRM software. So you're relying on your memory to remember to call this person or email this person again.
Yeah, that's right.
Do that. Use some software to help you. And then only use an email is another one that I see. People think they're going to close, 6-figure deal with email. No, you got to get on the phone. You got to talk to somebody. I think we've gotten into this email culture and people are scared to pick up the phone.
That's right.
I'm like, dude, magic happens over the phone. Pick up the phone.
That's right.
And just be consistent. I mean, you don't want to be a pest. I am not telling people to be out there harassing people, but over a 30, 60, 90-day period, people should hear from you a few times, right?
That's right.
And it should be in different ways. Sometimes it could be a direct message on LinkedIn. Sometimes it could be email. The next time you need to pick up the phone.
That's right.
And if they don't answer, if you get their voicemail, you better leave an enthusiastic message to get them to call you back. They need to hear your smile and your enthusiasm on that voicemail.
That's right. That's right. And the calls shouldn't go just, hey, I'm just following up or I'm just circling back. It should,
No.
right? I mean, it should include maybe a question or a suggestion to give me a call because I've got some other information that I think will help you, okay? Rather than just, I'm just touching base, I'm just following up, because then people blow that off. And they go, oh, yeah, it's just a follow-up call, forget it.
I don't need to talk to that person, right? Because time is the most valuable thing people can give anyone.
Right.
So you want to make it worth their time.
That's right.
But the number one thing you cannot do is give up too soon.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not, and a lot of times we take people not calling us back personal. It's not personal. Everybody's busy.
That's right.
It's like, you got to just, you definitely want to make sure that you cover your bases, right? Because follow up is about building trust. And you want to provide value in every touch.
Yeah.
Because it's not that people are uninterested. It could be a timing issue. People might be waiting for their new budget cycle to start. You need to get information about what's going on, but you also have to stop thinking about it like I'm nagging these people.
Yeah.
No, you're not nagging.
You're helping
trying
them.
to provide them a service.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So think about it like this: 5 to 10 touches are standard, right? And do a mix: email, text, phone, social media, DM,
Yeah.
and space it out over months. Like, you're not doing all of that in 1 month.
Right.
You'll be stalking somebody.
Yeah.
But there's what I have, like a 5-part follow-up system for people.
Mm-hmm.
You want to immediately reach out to them when you meet them. You meet somebody at a live networking event, that is a warm lead. So then you want to follow up with them, immediately connect to them on LinkedIn minimum. Thank them and tell them how nice it was to meet them and remind them about the conversation.
That's right. That's right.
And then that second touch should be something of value. Hey, I was just reading this about one of your competitors. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I just want to follow up with you and make sure you're aware of this and would love to catch up with you. And then the third contact needs to be, hey, can we book a call?
Yeah.
Can we have a follow-up call? And then if they're busy, when would be a better time? Should I follow up in 30 days, 90 days, what? And then follow up when they tell you.
That's right.
Right? So those are the things that I like to do to sort of like get that ball rolling. And sometimes you got to chase these people down.
That's right.
They are busy and you are not top of mind. Right? So
true.
Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Consistency is
That's right.
key.
And we've all purchased products and services from the company that does a better job of following up with us. Not necessarily the lower cost provider of that service or even the better provider of that service. It often goes to just the person that cares enough to follow up with that prospect, right? I know that I've done that, where if somebody calls me enough, I've got 2 or 3 companies, but only one company continues to follow up with me, continues to provide me with some suggested solutions, or maybe has some questions for me, or whatever the case might be, but I'm in contact with them. Guess what happens when I'm ready to cut the check or give them my credit card or whatever? It goes to that individual, even though I might in the back of my mind say, well, actually, the first person that called me had a little bit better product, but I never heard from them again. And this person wants my business in the worst way, and I've built a relationship with them now. And
but also, I would also jump in and say you've got to make sure that you personalize all your follow up. I realize a lot of people are out here using AI tools and sales automation and stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, a personalized email where you can reference a past conversation specifically is going to go a lot further than some automated tool.
That's
and
right.
I mean, especially if you're trying to use automated tools like on LinkedIn and stuff, please do not do that.
Yep, that's right.
Because people can tell
Yeah.
that that's what you're doing.
That's right.
So please do not do that.
I was talking to one company that was, this individual was calling me. It was about insurance and for the business. And I just happened to finish lunch, and I had my mouth full when I took the cell phone call, and it was with a chocolate chip cookie, of no less, in my mouth. And the person said, did I catch you at a bad time? I said, well, actually, I'm just finishing lunch, and I had to grab this chocolate chip cookie because I love chocolate chip cookies, right? Well, don't you know, 3 days later, I get this big bundle. Sent me a big box of homemade chocolate chip cookies.
Look.
Come on.
That is somebody that gets a call back, right?
Exactly. I'm taking that call, ended up doing business with them. Maybe not just because of the cookies, but man, it was a nice touch, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got to be listening.
But you got to pay attention, right? You got to listen. I tell you, one time, people know that I have a son. And when he was small, people used to send me things for my kid.
Isn't that great?
So who do you think I'm not calling those people back?
That's right. That's right.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing. There's lots of points of connection. Sometimes people have kids. Sometimes people have hobbies, like they're big fishermen or they like to run.
That's right.
Or we all got these doggone kids out here, right? So it's like, you know, so there's lots of ways you can connect to people. You can connect to people based on the charities they support or where they went to college. Like, I'm from Philadelphia. I'm a huge Eagles fan, yo. You know, so I mean, like, there's lots of things you can do to find points of connection with people. Because at the end of the day, people buy from people that they like, know, and trust.
That's right.
And that is true online as much as it's true in person.
That's right.
So we gotta make sure that you are leading with humanity and not with the sale. And that is how you're gonna make that follow-up earn into money.
I couldn't agree more. I already know the answer to my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because just on behalf of all of our viewers, and they many of them stay very close to what you have to say. They see you as one of the experts, in fact, the expert in small business. With all that we see going on out there right now, with tariffs and interest rates and craziness in DC, and some companies laying off and other companies hiring, but maybe not a full time, and all of this stuff that's going on right now. For those people that are watching that have not made the leap yet to own a small business or to start a small business, should they wait, or is now an okay time to jump in?
I think that, you know, it's always good to start a business if you have a plan.
Yeah.
If you have done your homework, if you are clear. Now, let me tell you the type of businesses that I think people should be looking at. I think you should look to buy an existing business. There's a lot of baby boomers who want out. And if you think that you can buy a business and scale it, that is the kind of business opportunity I would look at, because right now you could probably get a good deal on somebody trying to get out, especially if their kids don't want it, their employees don't want it.
So true.
You could buy. The other thing I think people should do is look at franchise opportunities.
Yeah.
Because franchise opportunities, the one thing about it is you can borrow money to buy an existing business that has revenue, and you can borrow money to buy franchises as well.
That's right.
You can also, you know, if you're leaving a job or something, you can flip a 401k and invest in a business that way and invest in a franchise.
That's right.
I really think that there's some amazing franchises out here, and there's all different kinds. It's not just McDonald's and food. Like most people think about food-based franchises, but that only represents 1/3 of the industry. There's a lot of other kinds of franchises out here. And if I had to do it all over again, like if I was just leaving my job and trying to figure out the business thing, I would do one of those two things before I try to operationalize an idea from scratch.
That is such great advice. I couldn't agree more with you. There's so many people. In fact, they say that a number of businesses, this is shocking, the majority of small businesses out there actually just close when the owners are finished with them. And because they don't sell them. They don't, and to your point, they don't have a family member that wants to take it over, what have you.
Yeah.
So it just closes. I mean, the company might be doing, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year in net profit, but they don't have anybody to turn it over to. So they just go, well, I'm going to fold up shop and I'm going to retire and we're going to close our company. We're going to close our store. And so I couldn't agree more. In fact, the business brokers that we interview here tell us that happens all the time. And to your point, the owner of the company would much rather get a monthly revenue check for that business rather than closing it all together. So you might even be able to go in with a handshake to go, I'll tell you what.
You could do an earnout. I mean, literally, there's a lot of businesses you can get for $1 million, $2 million. And it doesn't have you writing a check up front. It literally could be, if you could cobble together 50 to 100 grand down, maybe get an SBA loan. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff you can do, and people, if they like you, if the owner of the business likes you, they'll help you buy their business. And
I couldn't agree more.
But it's not an overnight thing, because they want to kind of date you and see how you are.
Yeah.
Are you going to fire all their staff? Like they kind of want to be. Yeah. They want to understand that you have the same values as them.
That's right.
And if you do, they will help you buy their business.
God, I couldn't agree more. Those are two great suggestions for people that are watching. If you haven't made the leap yet, I couldn't agree more with Melinda on this. First, an existing business, and if not that, check out the franchise. Any company that you want to open, okay, any business you want to open, there is already a successful existing franchise system that's put it all together for you, okay? And a bank or the SBA would much rather lend on a franchise system than Betty and Joe's cookie company, okay?
Right.
So I agree totally, wholeheartedly, Melinda, on that, because it's so true. So these are the kind of solutions that we love when you bring these in, because our viewers eat this up, and rightfully so. It's great content. So really appreciate it. Melinda Emerson, America's #1 small business expert, and now you see why. Also CEO of Quintessence Group. You can check her out online. She's also a heck of a best-selling author. Check out her books. We're showing copies of them right now on the screen. So thank you, Melinda, so much for joining us.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.